exactly it works. So let's take the language equals to 0 to the power I, 1 to the power j, 2 to the power k, such that I is equals to j plus k, and I, j, k all are greater or equals to 0. Okay, so we are saying that there is a contiguous block of zeros followed by contiguous block of ones followed by contiguous block of twos, such that the number of zeros are equals to number of ones plus number of twos, right? And it can be also 0. That means epsilon is accepted in this language. Now we have to design the PDA. So again, we will have a start state q0. There will be the first possibility is that you don't get anything. That means there are none zeros. So in epsilon case, what you will be doing, you will be moving forward exactly to a new state q1, marking that I did not get anything. So that is epsilon z0, and you are moving to new state. This is like transiting, while there is a possibility that you are scanning the zeros. So you are just receiving zeros so far. So for the first 0, you will have the transition that you got a 0 and initially there was nothing on the stack. So this is the first time you are getting it, so it's a 0 z0. And the other case is if you have a 0 and already a 0 is already on the stack for second, third and upcoming 0, so it will be 0 0. So these two transitions will take care of that part. Now once you have already consumed all the zeros, right, from the input, that means everything you have put on the stack, then you have to transit for matching these zeros with the ones and twos, right? So for that, the same transition to q1 might be used, that 0. So without consuming anything, if it is z0 or 0, you are just transiting to the new state q1. Now once you reach at q1, now you want to do the matching as previously in the previous example. So if you get a 0, if you here you will not get a 0, right? You are assuming that you have already stored all the zeros. So if you get a 1 and on the top of the stack if it is 0, so that becomes epsilon, that means you are popping it out. And then let's say 2, 0 and epsilon, right? So this is like 2 is also matching with 0 and epsilon. And once you have really matched everything, then the final thing comes that you go ahead to the final state q2 with epsilon, and you have popped all the zeros. That's all. Now is this PDA correct for this grammar? Let us check quickly. So let's take our string as q0 and let's take it 0 0 to 1. Is the string part of the language? The answer is no, because 1 should be here, 2 should be here. But what will happen for this string? You can realize that I will not take all the branching. I will just show you that transition, that this using the first transition there is a possibility that this becomes q0 0 to 1 and it's 0 z0. Then in the next step it becomes q0 to 1 0 0 z0, right? Now from here you take a further transition that matches 2 with a 0, right? So I'm using this particular transition. So I'm taking this transition and I'm applying it here. So when you apply, what happens? You get q0 1 0 z0, and this 1 matches with 0. So further you get that sorry, there is a small mistake. We actually skipped one of this step, right? So this is okay. So one step that we missed is that before starting the matching you have to change the state, right? So you are not directly going, you are going from here to the transition of q1 1 0 0 z0, and then from there you are coming to this particular id, right? So you have changed the state, so this is q1, and then at q1 you are doing the matching, and then again at q1 you are further doing the matching, so it is q1 epsilon z0, and because of that this becomes q2, right? So because of this you will be able to go to q2, this one, right? q1 epsilon z0 will further give you q2 epsilon z0. Now this q2 epsilon z0, is it an accepting id? The answer is yes, because q2 is a final state and the input is already exhausted, therefore this is an accepting transition of IDs, right? And therefore this string will be acceptable 0 0 2 1. So what was the problem? Did you realize the problem? Having both of these matching at the same step created the problem. So you should not do it at the same state. Actually you should skip. So what should happen here? So the answer is that you have to create another extra state there. So it will be that in the starting state it should be just for pushing zeros on the stack. So 0 z0, it becomes 0 z0. If you get zeros on a 0, you record at 0 0. Once you are done with that, or if you did not find any 0, so using two of these transitions you can move further without consuming anything. You are just leaving the stack as it is and you are moving to q1. q1 is just for comparison of zeros and ones. So assuming you have already pushed all the zeros, then zeros will be matched with ones. So here you're gonna get that 1 0 epsilon, that's all. Once you are done doing this, then you have to move further for matching with the 2's, and here again the same transition that you had epsilon z0, it becomes z0, and if it is epsilon 0, you can go further, right? Now after reaching here, this is q2. See, once, even after reaching at this point, you can immediately transit to q2, but once you transit from q1 to q2, you can never match ones with zeros. So if in the input ones are present, I think you should be using this transition at place of this one. So this will be applicable immediately, these two, right? You can immediately transit from q1 to q2, but if you move to q2, you will never be able to match the q1s in the input. So that is the thing. Once you got to q2, that means you have already exhausted all the ones, you have already matched it. So next job is to match 2's with zeros, and this is what you're gonna do here. And once everything has been matched, then you will be reaching to the final state q3, and this one is due to epsilon z0 z0. So this is a correct PDA, because here this possibility will never occur, because once you will reach to this point, and when you reach to this particular ID, right, q1, basically, see, the problem was here because 2 was matched with zeros even when ones were available in the input, right, and ones were later, even 2's are okay. This is still will be happening that you can cross the 2's with the zeros, but that will occur not at q1, it will occur only at q2. So once you end up at q2, you can never go back to q1 for matching ones with zeros, while here both were happening at the same state, so you were able to accept both kind of strings. So once you started matching with zeros with 2's, it will never let you match zeros with ones. That's what this machine ensures, right? So this is one interesting example. Let's take another example. Okay, so let's say that the language is very simple language, 0 to the power n, 1 to the power n, such that n is greater or equals to 0. Now for this language, if you have to design the PD, I think now it's very easy. what you are doing at the start state Q0, you just gonna add all the zeros on the stack. So Q0, Z0, Z0, and if you are getting zeros, you're gonna just keep adding it and then transiting. Now let's say that this is not greater or equals to, but it is strictly n is greater than 0. Then that case that you will never have epsilon accepted, so you will be not transiting. At least 1 0 will always be on the stack. So once you are leaving Q0, at least 1 0 you already received on the stack, so it will be just one transition, epsilon 0 0. This Z0 part that you used to write here, it will not occur because now epsilon is not accepted, so at least a 0 will be on the stack when you have pushed all the zeros. At least 1 0 will be required, right? So that is the case. Okay, now when you reach to Q1, you want to do the matching. Okay, it will be same as previously. So when you are reading 1 and you have 0 on the stack, it becomes epsilon, which is as usual. And then from here again, epsilon for Z0. Now you will be going to the final state Q2, right? This is the period. Does it work? You can always see that this will add all the zeros, then without consuming anything, without changing the stack, you are moving from Q0 to Q1, then you are matching all the ones with all the zeros. Now only when the stack is over and you have consumed all the input, then you can use this to go here, right? If you transit before that, so suppose that your input is left, that means there are some ones are left and you are transiting here, what will happen? You will be able to accept it, right? So that is the problem here, that it will not allow you to accept until you finish your inputs. Now let's change the language a bit. Suppose that I take the language as L equals to 0 to the power I, 1 to the power j, such that I is greater than j, and ij are greater or equals to 1. So the same thing, the only thing is now the number of zeros are more than number of ones. Now how we gonna deal with this case? It will be very similar to this. The only thing you have to see now on this machine, that you have to ensure that when your stack should not become empty even when you have exhausted all the ones, right? So the same Q0 for this one, you will have same 0, Z0, 0, Z0, you have 0, 0 and 0, 0. You are pushing everything, all the zeros on the stack, and at least 1 0 you have, so this is epsilon 0 for 0. Once you reach to this place, you're gonna match the ones to count that how many ones you have, right? So 1 0 epsilon. Now because it is greater or equals to j, so still the same setup will be here for epsilon. Now this is epsilon Z0, Z0. This is one possibility. What else? This is Q2. So this gives you what? I is equals to j. What about I is greater than j? I is greater than j means once you have exhausted all the ones, still then you should be able to do what? You have some zeros remaining on the stack. So once you reach here, you can, well, adding this production will be good, that on epsilon, if that is the case, so let's say I add epsilon 0 right, that's also fine. Epsilon 0 0. What this will change? Let's see if it works. So suppose that I have this q0 and I have 0 0 1, right, as ID and z0. Now this will allow me to add q0 all the zeros. So let's, in few steps, I'm taking the extended transition. So q0 1, it will be 0 0 z0. All the zeros are shifted here. So here there are two steps involved. I am skipping that. I hope you understand that I am using the extended one for that. After this, what is going to happen? q0 will transit to q1. So this is now q1 1 0 0 z0. Now q1 will match it, so it becomes q1 epsilon 0 z0 and q1 epsilon at 0 z0. If you just had this, then you cannot move ahead of it, right? But with this one, you are able to take it further and you are able to move. So that's what is happening. So epsilon 0 z0, you got to this particular state, which is q2 epsilon z0. Okay, right. So I think in the same way you can do many more examples. Okay, in the same example, if suppose we had this strictly greater than, then what will happen, right? So if it is strictly, I is strictly greater than j, what will happen? What change will be? Then what you have to make sure that certainly if ones and zeros are matched, then you should have some zeros. You cannot see z0 and move further. So you have to discard this particular transition. You have to remove this transition. So only this transition will be there, which will ensure that when you are switching from q1 to q2, means when you have matched ones with zeros, then you are actually done with everything and still few zeros are remaining on the stack. Further, you can discard all the zeros or you keep, it doesn't matter once you reach the final state, because you have already consumed the input, right? All the zeros you have pushed, all the ones are matched with the zeros and still zeros are remaining on the stack. If, next case, if I is less than j, then what? If I is less than j, that means you are ensuring that the zeros get exhausted earlier than the number of ones, right? So that is an interesting case. So there what will happen, when you are starting from q0, you have to push the zeros, everything as it is. Now epsilon 0 0 and you reach to q1. Here you are matching ones with zeros. Now after this, what is going to happen? This is when you gonna say that epsilon z0 z0, right? So once you are matching with ones with zeros, you realize that still ones will remain while the zeros will be empty. So ones are still remaining because i's are strictly less than j. So all the zeros are actually popped out while ones are still over. So to move further to the acceptance, you have to say that okay, the input is 1 while the top of the stack became 0, z0. Now after this, what you are seeing, that 1 z0 and this is still z0. That's okay. There's nothing is on the stack. And now this is not a final state. Sorry. If this is a final state, that's fine. Actually, it's fine to have it a final state. Now the only part is there might be several ones which are still left, right? So this will never let you consume all the ones, excessive ones, right? So suppose there were n number of zeros and there were n plus k ones. So n number of ones will be exhausted here, extra 1 will be consumed here, but still k minus 1 ones are remaining. So to do that, you have to create another self loop on the final state, which will be that 1 z0 z0. Now what this will do, this will consume all the ones and because you are in the final state, by default you will accept the input. So let us just see how does it really look like. So you are starting with Q0. Let's say that you have 0, 3 ones, and you have Z0, right? So in a step it will become Q0, 3 ones, 0, Z0. Now because of this transition you will be moving to Q1, all the things will remain same. Now after this, because of the matching step, 1 will be matched with 0 and you will be having Q1, 1, 1, Z0. Now you cannot further do the matching, so you have to take this transition. So 1 at Z0 you will reach here, so it will take you to Q2 and 1. So this requires at least 1, 1. Suppose that you had less or equals to, then you don't need to force a 1, then you have to use epsilon Z0 Z0 in addition to 1 Z0 Z0. So this epsilon at Z0 Z0, if you include here, this will bring that I is less or equals to j, right? So Q2, 1, and you have still Z0, and this 1 or any number of ones after that, whatever is that will be consumed by this. So finally you will have Q2, epsilon and Z0. We don't care about the stack symbol, we just see that this is a final state, input is exhausted, so this is the final ID and therefore this string is accepted, right? So these are a few couple of examples, and these may give you idea to better design a post down automata for any context free languages. So try practicing a lot, and next let's see a few different type of PDs. So this PDA that we were talking about so far, right, that we used to say that whenever you have a PDA, and when you say the PDA accepts a string, you say a PDA accepts a string when you start. So you say that this PDA is basically, you are saying that it's a 7 tuple system. So this is a 7 tuple system: Q, sigma, tau, delta, Q0, F and Z0, right? 7 tuple system, and this PDA accepts a string W if, so if you try to find the language of this PDA, it will be all the strings W such that Q0, W, Z0 in 0 or more transition steps goes to Q, epsilon, some alpha, such that this Q is, right, such that this Q is part of F and this alpha is part of T star. So it's a irrelevant, this particular thing is irrelevant for the acceptance, right? So it says that P consumes all the input and goes to a final state. So always remember that P consume whole input string and reaches to a final state. Now this type of PDA is called, so there is a special name for this PDA, right? And the name is coming from that this PDA accepts by going to a final state. So that's why we call this PDA as acceptance by final state. Now there is another one, so we call it acceptance by final state. So all the PDAs that we have seen for, it is acceptance by final state, because we say that you have to reach to a final state. But there is another variation of a PDA which doesn't require you to reach to a final state, and that is actually a only 6 tuple system, right? So it doesn't say you need to have overall 5 tuples. You can have just all the 7 components. You can do it with just 6 components, which says that your this PDA is containing still a Q, sigma, delta, Q0, Z0, right? This says that F is an optional thing, it is not very much required for acceptance. It says that you're gonna accept all those. So here the definition of accepting ID, right, that changes. So here an accepting ID is such that any state epsilon and Z0, and actually not even Z0, you should have epsilon. So when a stack becomes empty, you are popping out the Z0 also, right? So this is the accepting ID. Here Q belongs to capital Q. So Q can be any state, it doesn't matter. Again, here the state is irrelevant, right? Here the state is irrelevant, which state you reach. If you consume the whole input and your stack becomes empty at the same point of time, then you say that my PDA accepts this string. So it is again how you define your accepting ID, your nature of the PDA changes, and this PDA is called as acceptance by empty stack, right? Now if I have to define the language of this PDA, it will be all the strings W such that when you start with Q0W, Q0W, Z0, it goes in 0 or more steps to Q epsilon epsilon. And as we discussed, this Q is some state part of Q. So when Z0 is popped out, that is something special. Okay, so let us try to design a PDA for this language, right? Let's take a language and try to design a PDA where the number of zeros are equals to number of ones, right? And this PDA should be accepted by empty stack. So again we have a state Q0, and this Q0 does what? I have to make sure that whenever, and what is the language? Language is all the strings W part of 0 1 star such that number of zeros is equals to number of ones. Simple. In what order, which order they are, it doesn't matter. They will be coming in any random order. So you have to design a PDA for it. So let's take a state. Again, what we can do? We can say that when you get the first 0, now what is the first symbol you may get? It may be a 0, it may be a 1, we don't know. So let's do the same way. So if you get a 0 and it is Z0, what you gonna do? You gonna push it on the stack. So 0 Z0. When you get a 1 and it's a Z0, the same thing will happen, 1 Z0. Now what about if you get a 0 and you had already a 0, what will happen? So you want to push and pop at the same point of time, right? Because you might be getting, it's like see this. So if you have 0 1 0 1 1 0 0 1 0 1, so how you gonna do it on the stack? See, always think that this is a string. What you gonna do for this string? So 2 2 4 1 5 1 2 3 4. Okay, let's say 1 here. Okay, so when you will start processing, it is pointing to 0. What you gonna do? Put it on the stack. Okay, then when you move the pointer here, what happens then? Then you got a 1. So what should be happening? This 0 should be popped out, right? And then your header moves here. You got a 1, then your 1 gets pushed on the stack because this is in excess, right? And then you get a 0, this 1 is popped out. Then you get a 1. What happens? So now the matching, the filling and everything will happen continuously. So it is not like first you are filling the stack and then you are doing the matching. Now filling and matching, everything will happen at the same point of time, and you just have to see that which is in excess. So if you have 0 and it is Z0, that means there is nothing on the stack, you are putting it there. If you have a 1 and nothing is on the stack, you are putting it there. If there is a 0 and you have a 0 on the top of the stack, that means you have, and always remember, you will have just one type of symbol at a given point of time on the stack. So 0 0, it will become 0 0. If you have 1 1, it becomes 1 1. If you have 0 1, it becomes upsilon. That means if you are looking at 0 on the input tape and you have 1 on the stack, it becomes upsilon. The same for the other case. So if you have 1, this becomes upsilon. Is there anything else? No. So the only last thing is that if there is a Z, so this will do what? This will do all the matching and everything, but this will not empty the stack. This will still try to match if the number of zeros are equals to number of ones. So if you are done with all the matching, then you can do what? You can actually just empty the stack. So either you can use a single transition here that empties the stack, or you can just take another transition going somewhere else. So you have to add a transition that whether you see anything and it becomes a Z0, you make it upsilon. So you pop out Z0. That is what you have to further add to this. And a single state PDA will be able to give you the acceptance. So let's say that here at place of this, right, you can do that. Whenever you get the first 0, you don't push it on that, you just empty it. But there will be a problem, right? Because if you empty and you cross the first 0, then it becomes, the stack becomes empty. So you are ready to accept it. But that's what you want, that at every point of time you are ready to accept. So 0, Z0, and it should be gone. So you don't require this and you don't require this. So it can be just this one also, that you are always ready to accept. Now what will happen? See, the first 0 when it arrives, it deletes the Z0, or the first one arrives, it deletes the Z0, and it just, there is nothing else than whatever is the first symbol, and if you pop it, stack becomes empty from the first time itself. So whenever there is nothing on the stack, even Z0 is not available, so you are ready to accept as per the empty stack principle, but still you have to consume the whole input. That is important. So let's see if it works fine for everything, right? So does it cover every case, or are we behind any case? Are we missing any transition? So see, you have to cross check if the PDA is correct. Let's try checking it using our principles of Q0, and because the state doesn't matter here, right, the transitions matter. So Q0, and I'm starting with, let's say, 0 1 1 1 0 0, correct, and then Z0. So now the first time my 0 arrives, it makes the stack go empty. Now the only problem is, see what the problem will arrive with if you will just have this type of transition, that once you pop the Z0 you cannot add it further, right? So this might be a good idea to do popping Z0 at the last time when you are getting anything, right? Not for the first time. So then what? Oh, this will create some problem. The problem will be that if you pop Z0, then how you check what is on the stack, and you will not be able to get, you will just get epsilon. So here there is nothing as epsilon, right? So there is a problem. So yeah, you have to rewrite the transitions. This will not appear. So you have to take 0 Z0 as 0 Z0, and then you have 1 Z0 as 1 Z0, right? And finally, if everything is over, suppose everything is gone, everything is consumed, then with last transition can be epsilon, and the top of the stack is Z0 and it becomes epsilon. Let's see if it works. I don't know, right? So Q0 0 1 1 1 0 0 Z0, and this will give you what? This will give you Q0. This 0 will go there, so 1 1 1 0 0 0 Z0. This 0 will be matched with this 1, so you will have Q0 1 1 0 0 Z0. Then all these ones will be pushed on this. So Q0 0 0 1 1 Z0. Then all the zeros will cancel these ones, and you will remain with Q0 epsilon Z0. And then in the final one, if you use this one without consuming anything, if top of the stack is Z0, you go to this. So Q0 epsilon Z0, and this is a this becomes epsilon because even Z0 is popped out. Now this is the accepting ID, and that's why we accept this input string. So do we accept more than that? Is it possible? So certainly we also accept the epsilon, right? Because if you have Q0 epsilon Z0, by default it becomes Q0 epsilon epsilon, and you are able to accept it because of this transition. So it works fine. Now suppose that this whole thing was that and length of W is greater than 0, then what? Then you cannot accept the epsilon, right? Then you cannot have it here. Then what you will do? So then it comes to change the state further. So then you have to make sure that at least there is a 0 or 1 you are getting in the beginning, and then you are doing all this matching and all that. So that insurity that you have to bring by creating a state and then going further. So I think now you should be practicing a lot more design of PDAs, and then you have to practice that how you're gonna deal with all that. So altogether what we understood that there are two types of PDAs that can exist. One is acceptance by final state, the other one is acceptance by empty stack. Now these two PDAs, if you try to see, right, these two types of PDAs, although they look different, but they are actually equivalent. We'll come to that very soon, but before that, the main difference between these two are that the accepting definition of accepting ID. So always remember, about that. If you remember that, then everything is fine. That here in this case of accepting ID, it looks like Q epsilon and alpha, and here it looks like Q epsilon epsilon. Now here this is irrelevant to you, here this is irrelevant, here this has to be a final state, and here it is irrelevant. Here it is irrelevant, while here it has to be empty. Right, rest all and everything remains as it is. And these PDAs are actually non-deterministic PDAs. We haven't talked about deterministic PDA because we are extending and defining these PDAs based on the epsilon ENFA. So therefore these PDAs are non-deterministic PDAs. Next, let's talk about equivalence between these two types of machines. Right. So let us first talk about from empty stack to final state. Okay, so let us take the equivalence between these two different type of push down automaton. So the first one is from empty stack to final state. So a detailed proof is given in the book. I recommend you to go back and read that. I will give you the idea here, which will allow you to understand exactly how we establish the equivalence between these two types of PDAs. Right. So suppose that when we are converting from empty stack to final state, suppose that there is a PDA given which is of the empty stack type, right? So now whenever you have a PDA given which accepts by empty stack, so let's take a general diagram. Okay, so let's say that there is a start state Q0, right, and then you have some more states on the PDA, right, and this PDA accepts by empty stack. So that means whenever the input is consumed completely and the PDA empties its stack, then you accept it. But you may accept the input at any given state. So the construction is something very easy, that you just have to, so using this PDA machine, we are going to build ourselves a bigger machine. Now this machine we want to construct for acceptance by final state. So we are going to add a final state, and from every state we are going to add a transition coming to this final state. Right. Now whenever you get empty stack on any of these, so suppose that Z0 is the transition, Z0 is the initial stack symbol for this one. So this is your PDA for empty stack, and it has Z0 symbol for the as a starting stack symbol. So basically when you are emptying the stack, you are popping out Z0, correct? So at that point of time there is nothing left on the stack. But for the bigger machine, how we get to know that when you are emptying the stack? So for that what we do, we add another start state of this machine, and here what we say that this is our new Q0 dash as the start state, and here for this bigger machine there will be another starting stack symbol, right? So what you do here, you append that Z0 for this X0. So we are taking that X0 is the starting stack symbol for this bigger machine, while Z0 is for the inner one. So what will happen, the first transition says that without consuming any input, when you see x0 as the initial stack symbol for the bigger machine, this machine PDA for final state, you push Z0 X0. Now when you do that and you have Z0 on top of it, so you are initializing X0 was there. Now what you are doing, you are not doing anything else, just you are pushing Z0 on top of it. Now once you put Z0, and now this stack is ready to be used as a stack with the initial stack symbol for the inner machine, right? So once you put Z0 on top of X0, now this stack can also be used as a stack for the inner machine, and this inner machine can use it as its own transition functions and all that, and whenever it is going to empty its stack, you will be able to detect on the other machine. How? Because at any point of time, whenever you are going to pop Z0 to empty the stack, what you will still be able to see at the top of the stack for the bigger machine, Z0, right? Sorry, X0. So for any given state, whenever you are emptying your stack, so you can go to the final state of the bigger machine, and here without consuming anything, you don't want to further consume anything, because whatever you have consumed on the inner machine, the same should be remaining intact, and you are actually seeing X0 because Z0 you have emptied. Whenever you are accepting any string, Z0 has been popped out from the stack, so you are seeing X0 on top of the stack, and because of that you may just keep it empty, or you can let it remain as X0, and the same transition from every state you're gonna add, right? Now what it ensures, that whenever, so for example, for the internal machine, you started with Q0 if you were accepting any string W on the internal machine, correct? So what is happening, Q0 W, and you are starting with Z0, what it gives you, in 0 or more transition steps, you will be able to reach to some state Q upsilon, right? Now this is already available to you. Now you can take further extension of it. So what you are doing for the bigger machine, now it is Q0 dash, you are starting with still W, and you are starting with X0, right? Now this, whatever is the configuration, in one step it gives you Q0 W, and you get Z0 X0. Now when you have Z0 here, it will behave in the same way as it is. So in 0 or more steps, you will be able to reach to Q upsilon, but here this Z0 will go out, still you will have X0. Now this Q is a state of the internal machine. So using the kind of transitions you have created here, now further you can go from this Q0 to this QF, whatever the state, from every state you have added transition to the final state. So you will be able to go to QF, anyway your empty input is gone, and this X0 remains as it is. Now if you see this particular ID, it is having a state QF, which is a final state for the bigger machine. You have already consumed the input, so W is also accepted, right? And for the only if case also it will hold. So I think you should go back and try to read the proof. Now here there is one interesting property we are actually using here. If you see that, why this is holding, when you have Q0 W Z0 X0, so there is something at the bottom of the stack. rest input and everything is same, but still the stack behaves in the same way, the whole transition behaves in the same way. So why does it happen, why this whole construction holds? So there is three important properties that you should know about PDAs. Proving that is very simple, you can very quickly prove it, and these three properties, if you have to understand, is that, let me write one by one. So the first one is that if a sequence of IDs, right, are legal for a PDA, if a sequence of IDs are legal for a PDA, then whatever the computation you are getting by adding the same additional input string to the end of the input in each ID is also legal, right? So what we are trying to say that, suppose that there is a transition between IDs, extended transition is already established, that Q, you have W and gamma, right? So you have Q, W and gamma, and this in 0 or more steps takes you to P, let's say W dash and then beta. So it is saying that you are going from state Q to state P, the string W becomes W dash, and you, whatever is the stack symbol, it becomes something else. So if this is holding as per the legal transition, so this will also hold, which is Q W X gamma will also give you P W dash X beta. That means if your string gets expanded or extended by some another substring, still the same transition can hold if you append that substring on both side of the this transition from ID to another ID. In the same way, the second rule that you can derive is that, from if this is true, again holding, and at place of appending an input you have something at the bottom of the stack more than this gamma. So for example, if you have Q, this, if this ID is holding true, this ID transition, so if you have Q W and you have here gamma alpha, then in the same 0 or more steps you will be able to reach to P W dash beta alpha. So whatever is at the bottom of the stack, again it remains as it is. So these two properties are very simple. Why? Because see, if you haven't read the input, right, X you haven't touched, your W becomes W dash, so whatever is X afterwards you don't care, still you will reach to the same state, same stack changes will happen and everything will remain same. So this is very trivial to prove. If you talk about this, again this is like on the stack you had gamma and that gamma is becoming beta, so whatever is at the bottom of gamma you haven't seen what exactly is there, right? So at the bottom of gamma whatever you have, you haven't seen, so it remains intact without any problem. Now the third property is that if there is a computation which is legal for a PDA and some tail of the input is not consumed, then we can remove this tail from the input in each ID and the resulting computation will still be holding. So it is in the inverse way, saying that, let's say that if you have a computation Q Wx gamma, and it is going to P W dash x of beta. If this is holding, so if there is some tail which is intact, so you can delete that tail and still the transition will hold. For example, it will still this relationship between the IDs will hold. Why is it so? So basically it is a converse of this part, that if this holds then this will hold, and it is the converse of one saying that if the below one is holding then the first one will also hold. While the converse of the second statement might not hold true, because this gamma that has become beta, it might have gone below alpha and then came back. So you never know, right? Due to what kind of stack configuration you had, which resulted to reach to state P, you might end up at some other place if you had below gamma something else, right? So these are the three properties. You should go back and read these properties. I will, due to shortage of this video content that I am creating, I am just skipping it, and you should go and read it. It is very trivial. You should try to find out exactly how it gets proved. Now, because it is holding, so that's what exactly we have used in the previous slide. If you realize that when we said that Q0 WZ0 is holding for this, so if you have something at the bottom of Z0 which is X0, so it's still the same transition relationship will hold, and that's why you got this, right? Okay, so this is conversion from empty stack to final state. Next, let's talk about the conversion from final state to empty stack. So from final state to empty stack. Again, for proof, you must refer the book and try to read in detail about all the terminologies, the proof and all. I will give you the idea here how really this construction works. So suppose that there is a machine given to you again, which is a PDA accepting by final state. So you have a start state here and you have a set of final states, right? So this is your PDA that accepts by final state. I have to accept it by empty state, right? So whatever is this PDA, suppose that Z0 is the starting symbol, starting stack symbol. So on this PDA, let's say this is my Q0. So Q0 W, whatever the strings that are acceptable here, they are reaching to Z0, Q0 W Z0, and this in 0 or more step, it is reaching to some QF, and input is consumed and some gamma is remaining on top of the stack. I don't know what is, but this gamma is actually part of the tape symbol, right? A string comprising of tape symbols. So this is holding because a string is acceptable. So we have to also show that this string will be also acceptable on the bigger machine that we are constructing. How we gonna make sure? So anyway, you have consumed the input when you are arriving on the final state, when you are accepting a string. So you just have to further empty the stack, right? If you empty the stack at this given point of time, your stack also becomes empty, and then whatever is the state for the bigger machine, it doesn't matter because you are building a machine for empty stack. If the stack becomes empty and already the input is consumed, you will accept even for the bigger machine. So let's say that this is the bigger machine that we are constructing. So what extra we do here? Not much. What we just add here that from every final state you go to another state by starting to empty the stack. So here something is on the stack, you did not consider it while accepting on the inner machine, but now without consuming any input, whatever you get, so I don't know what is on the top of the stack, but whatever it is, you just pop it out. The same from here also. So any is meaning whatever is there on the top of the stack, you just pop it out, and then once you reach to this state, you do the same. So epsilon, any epsilon, keep popping out the stack, keep performing the pop operation. What will happen after some many pop operations, you will empty the stack, and then your stack also becomes empty, and then your input was already consumed if the string was accepted on the inner machine, so you will also accept it on the bigger machine, right? So that's all. But is there anything wrong? The answer is yes. What is the why there is something wrong? Because see, if suppose that on the inner machine at some point of time you are emptying the stack by mistake or something like that, so you are deleting even the Z0. So what will happen? Although for a given string, let's say that for a given string which is not accepted in the language, so let's say that there is a string W which is not part of L, and what happens when you start from Q0, W dash, let's say W dash and Z0, in 0 or more steps you are able to arrive at Q dash epsilon. So let's say it's not epsilon, yeah, it's a Q dash epsilon and epsilon, let's say, correct? So the input string is consumed, the stack is emptied. So in this case, should you be accepting this for the inner machine when Q dash is not part of the final set? The answer is no, right? Because the string is not part of L, so Q dash is not part of F, although you might have emptied the stack and consumed the whole input. It is not a accepting ID for the inner machine, because inner machine is a acceptance by final state. So to avoid, but when you run it for the bigger machine in the given scenario, whatever you have now your this particular ID will become as accepting ID, because the stack is empty and input is consumed. So prevent accepting such strings by accident, what we do, we add another level of stack symbol below whatever the stack symbol of the inner machine was, just like previously we were doing. So what we do here, we create a new start state Q0 dash, and what we do, we say that the stack symbol for this bigger machine is X0, and without consuming anything, when we see X0 we have Z0 X0. So now whenever, even if you try to accidentally empty your stack for the inner machine, still Z0 is there, so you are not accepting it there. And when you accept it for a given machine, only if you were able to reach to the final states after consumption, right? From there only you can come to a place where you can empty the stack. Otherwise the X0 cannot be emptied for the inner machine. Inner machine doesn't have X0, so it cannot empty X0. Inner machine just knows about Z0. So in the worst case it can delete Z0, but still X0 will remain on the stack. So any string on the inner machine using the transition for inner machine cannot empty X0 from the stack. So whenever you want to really empty the stack, you have to reach to this state which actually empties any character from the stack. And to reach to this state, you have to come via any of the final states. And if you are coming via any of the final states, you must be accepting the string if you have already consumed the input. Because if you haven't consumed the input although being on the final state, you are not accepting that string, and it will not be accepted on the bigger machine also, because you are not consuming anything further after reaching to this state. So you can accept any string on coming to this state and emptying the stack if and only if you have already consumed the input and you have arrived to one of the final states on the inner machine. So this is the crude idea for the construction. For details and understanding and properly looking how the proof really gets constructed around, you are recommended to go back and read the book. So that's all for the equivalence. So what we proved that given a final state we can convert into empty stack, given an empty stack we can convert into final state very easily using this. So suppose that a question comes that you have to design a machine for final state. You realize that I can construct a machine for empty stack very easily. So you construct for empty stack and then quickly convert into final state acceptance, right? So knowing this equivalence will help you really. If you, one way of designing the machine is easy, you may use that method and then convert into other one if the other one is specifically asked. So that's all for the equivalence. Now in the next topic we're gonna discuss about the equivalence between PDAs and context free grammars, that the language accepted by these PDAs, especially NPDAs I should be calling, non-deterministic PDAs, and the context free grammars that we have talked about, they all represent the same language, which is context free languages.